Hi, my name's Tim. My wife and I are foster parents. And I wanted to tell you a quick story about what it's like to be a foster parent. This is our daughter, Linda. She was 3 years old when she came to us, and we've since adopted her and her sister. When she first came to us, she had the hardest time going to bed. At night, she would just get filled with anxiety and fear, and that would usually manifest in her just acting crazy. She just would do anything to not be in bed. And if we would ignore her cries or her calls for us, she would go jump on her sister. She'd start hitting her sister until we came to break it up. And we researched how people were, helping 3-year-olds go to bed at night. And we found what we call the super nanny method. And this involves taking a child by the hand, not making any eye contact with her at all, and leading her directly back into bed without saying a word. And you do this over and over again until the child goes to bed. And we read that it would take maybe about 15 times to do this. And we thought, well, we can do that, because on the second night it would only take 3 or 4, and then on the third night there wouldn't be a problem at all. And we thought, well, 15 is no big deal, and even if she's really hard and it takes us 30, we can do it. So the first night we tried this, we led her back into bed 78 times. And it was terrible, but she went to bed. And we thought, well, the toughest night is over. Tomorrow night it'll be less than half of that. The second night it was 93 times in a row. But the third night it was down to about 15. And the fourth night it was only 3 or 4. And we thought, well, we've got this figured out. She's not going to have any problems going to bed at all anymore. Well, that only worked for a couple of weeks. And then we had to find something new. And that only worked for a couple of weeks or maybe a month. And then we had to try something new. Eventually, at the advice of our family therapist, we actually crawled into bed with her, and we would hold her in bed until she fell asleep. And when we did this, she would kick and scream and fight and sometimes bite us. And if we ever released her, just a little bit, she'd say, "No, hold me tight, hold me tight." And that just took a lot out of us. We did that for about a month, and it was terrible. So we moved on to something new. And this went on month after month for about 18 months. And then something strange started to happen. She started to go to bed on her own. And after 19 months, it got a little bit better. And after 20 months, the problem was almost resolved entirely. And we realized later that there was one thing that we had never tried with her until after 18 months. And that was having her go to bed in the same place every night for 18 months. Never in her life had she had a mommy and a daddy say to her night after night, "Good night, I love you, I'll see you tomorrow." She'd never had that kind of consistency in her life. And it was only after 18, 19, 20 months of that her bedtime issues were finally resolved. Foster parenting has been one of the toughest things in our lives, but it's also been one of the most rewarding, because it's just about helping hurt kids find love and be reconciled to a family. If you've ever thought about foster parenting, we challenge you to take the next step today.